Just stay strong and stay real to me, baby. This shit can get real for me, baby. See them other shit playing kill for me, baby. The one who's been real to me, baby. Stay strong and stay real to me, baby. This shit can get real.
Sparkers, it's your girl JazzYbella. Welcome back, Sparkers. I've missed you guys so much, but if you haven't already, check out the title. This is EP9, The Change That We Need. This is definitely a heavy topic. This is something I usually don't talk about or type of content I have on my page, but this is something that's, a necessity that we do need to talk about. I'm going to be interviewing somebody that I personally know about one of the many ways that we can fight injustice what's going on right now in the country. Yes, it is 2020. It's not 1806. It's not 1940. It is 2020, and we are still dealing with racism. We are still dealing with police brutality. And when I say we, I mean African Americans. We are still oppressed systematically, and we need change. We have to figure out a way where we are not going through these things anymore. It's been 400 years plus, and this needs to stop. This mentally has been draining me. If you follow me personally on my social media or my podcast page, I've been really active on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm so sick of it. I actually got to a point where I was numb to this stuff, and I would see a hashtag of someone's name, say their names, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, where it wasn't phasing me anymore. I was like, oh man, another person died. But this definitely has to stop. I'm not going to talk about it too much. We're going to get into this interview soon. I'm going to go ahead and upload a clip. I'm going to go ahead and upload a clip where you see me protesting in my city. And also, definitely check out the resources that are linked below, especially mental health is definitely an issue here in the U.S., especially in our community. I am black, so I am going to speak to my community. Definitely check out those links because, again, it's been really draining for me. I've been explaining this to my kids. But let's go ahead and jump into the interview. I'm not going to talk too much longer. Let's talk about what's going on so our viewers know and how you feel about it and how it's affected you personally and your family.
Oh, wow. That's a heavy hitter. Honestly, when you look around and you have your friends and I have some family as well, right, and you see that they're being treated differently for merely appearance and the color of their skin, it's not only infuriating, it's saddening, and it makes me wonder, where is our country gone? Why aren't we holding ourselves accountable? Why aren't we holding everyone accountable? And then same with, within police brutality. Why aren't their partners holding them accountable? And so how it's affected me is I imagine it's affected me as it has the rest of the country, because there has been a poll and over 2/3 people actually do support Black Lives Matter.
Right. So
with that said, you turn on your TV, and even after the death of George Floyd,
right,
you're still seeing police brutality, and you're still seeing men unarmed shot.
It is ridiculous.
It is, and it could have gone so many different ways where somebody doesn't have to get murdered. And just to be clear, I'm against murder of all. I'm even against the death penalty. So
yep.
So with that said, I don't believe that police should have the right, because they have a badge and a gun, which I will call a second penis per se, because they just have some of that small dick energy.
Yes, that's definitely, she said what she said, small dick energy.
I said what I said, yes. So we need to start holding them accountable, and us as citizens, we need to hold ourselves accountable to hold them accountable.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like that goes into basically what the second question I want to talk about. With you, why do you choose to stand with justice? I know that sounds like an easy, silly question that anyone can answer, but there's so many people that are silent. And again, if you're being silent, you're being compliant. And if you're silent, silence equals violence. Mm-hmm. But why do you choose to stand for justice and fight injustice?
Because it's right. Ain't everybody been raised between right and wrong?
You would think that.
Because it's right. And it's the right side of history. And this is the largest civil rights movement in history. This is world, not just the United States. Not just this country, but there are other countries who are out there as well protesting. And I have even heard a woman from London say that there is police brutality there, and she doesn't want it to get as bad as the United States.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That is so scary.
Yes. So we are like the lowest standard for racism, and
that is so gross.
Yes. So with that said, it's one of those things where it's between right and wrong. See something, say something, because they are the future.
When you say they, who do you mean? Like the youth?
The youth, yes. This youth is the future, and right now right now, as a whole, it's a shit roll for them, and for them to look around and see what's going on.
Right.
Children shouldn't see ugly, and that's unfortunate that they're forced to see it.
Yeah, that's all that's being played on the news right now. 2020 has been a heck of a year. What are you doing exactly to fight against injustice? I know we all know that you're here for it, which we appreciate because we all have to stand together in solidarity to make change. But what are you exactly doing? Are you a protester? Are you a keyboard warrior? What?
I like keyboard warrior. I would spend more time on that by the time. So I actually, yes, I am involved in protests, organized ones as well. I am also helping like leaders of small organizations, like getting the word out. I'm always posting flyers and such. So I am getting the word out to at least those that I know, you included.
Definitely.
As to what's going on out in the communities and how they can get involved. But I have a personal agenda.
Okay.
So I did speak with the city council.
Yep, and you are going to hear that clip. Or if it's too long, you can always click at the link below at the bottom. And the nice way to say it, she put a finger up their ass. So politically correct. So definitely listen to it.
I just wanted them to hear me, but I didn't think I'd get that far. So, and you guys, everyone listening, you can do it too. That's just it. You have the right. You're a citizen. And so your voices can be heard. You can go to a city council meeting. You can speak at a city council meeting. It's not limited to a few. It is for all citizens. And I will provide you the links to do so. There are 2 ways to do it. Now I'll provide Jazz a link in which you can speak at your city council. And you will have to know an ordinance. What an ordinance is essentially is it's like a law that they're trying to pass by the city. So for instance, 614 was passed. Like that there's a positive one.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so 614 was passed. So that's an example. And so the ordinance that I spoke on was actually on the JAG program, and I spoke against more military presence in our policing, and then I went into my agenda. And
again, this is the video that you're going to hear what she's referring to. And if you are just tuning in now, what she's giving us is what are the resources that us citizens, the normal person on the street that's not directly with the council or in politics personally to say, just a student, she's giving us resources on how we can, be part and have a voice.
Yeah, because you already do.
Yeah.
So essentially what my agenda was and what I proposed to them was that officers now, they're becoming liabilities.
Okay.
So
definitely.
So when they screw up, it's your tax dollars that pay for it because it's the city that pays for it. And I propose that they carry insurance, which is basically, well, you can call it personal injury plan, or you can call it professional injury plan.
Right.
I like the professional part because that's what they're supposed to be, professionals. So essentially what it is we want them to, now the city can cover their bodily harm if something were to happen to them, but they need to purchase this plan so that if when they have it, they think twice before getting a little brutal.
And it's sad to say, because it's, as everyone knows, money rules the world. this would definitely make them think twice about their mistakes, because they're going to literally have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now we pay for their mistakes. Of course they wouldn't care. And a lot of people don't even know that.
And I didn't know that either. I mean, of course, like, you know, you don't wake up with knowledge. You don't wake up knowing something. So this is when I found out, this is something that I had actually found, that in Minneapolis, they tried this in 2016.
Wow.
That's 4 years prior to George Floyd's death. They tried to pass exactly what we're trying to do, is basically hold them accountable out of their pockets, just like doctors, basically malpractice, you know, essentially. So they'll think twice. And if you want to compare it to something, and I hate to compare like a life to something like such as driving a car, but
I know.
But let's say you're driving a car and you're speeding, you're gonna think twice about your premium going up.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I bring this up is because the murderer who killed George Floyd, he had 18 complaints against him. Now, do you think if he was like had to carry mandatory professional liability personal plan,
Right.
if he had to pay for that, do you really think that the insurance company covering him would still have him with 18 counts, or they would drop his ass?
And in turn, the department wouldn't want to pay for him either. He would be fired. He's a liability. He can't do this.
Now, the reason why we have to do this is because the police unions cover everything. Now, keep in mind, your tax dollars are paying for the unions, because they choose the unions, they pay the unions, they get paid by us, our taxes. Still comes down to that.
Right.
And so what's happening is the unions are very discreet, and they are not transparent. And they're covering for these dirty cops. This is the reason why someone like, you know, Tamir Rice,
Right.
the murderer who killed him, is back on the police force.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's back on the police force.
And if you don't know about him,
He was 12 years old. He was in Cleveland, and he had a BB gun. And this officer, who is now currently still an officer and shouldn't be.
that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
He didn't even ask, you know, hey, he just shot him.
Yeah, they kind of rode up on him like a drive-by. It was pretty disgusting. And how old did you say he was?
12.
He was only 12 years old. Now, I let my sons play with Nerf guns. And as you know, I'm an African-American woman. I have 2 African-American sons, 2 kings I'm raising. And they play with Nerf guns. And then imagine them at 12 getting rode up by a police, shot, and dead.
So, yeah, he just had a BB gun. But just imagine, why didn't he ask him, what's your name? I mean, he's just a BB gun, what's your name? And he had a baby face, too. He was 12.
Yeah. He didn't even get out the car. So how did he feel so threatened? That's what I don't understand.
Beats me. I honestly can't argue with ignorance.
Yeah, and then this is, again, why Black Lives Matter. Even a short story like that, if that doesn't move you and you sit there and you feel yourself like, well, what's the evidence? You are part of the problem.
Yeah. So it's basically, and for those who say like, well, there's good cops. Well, then they won't have to worry about their premiums, will they?
It is. Yeah, you have to find humor in this type of stuff because it's so crazy, but they would not.
No. And so I guess my motto is no insurance, no job. Because keep in mind now, every professional, not just the malpractice, like for the doctors,
right,
which is the plan I want to go with, but everybody has to carry insurance in some form. Civilians have to carry insurance. Homeowners have to carry insurance. If you were to fall in my home, you could sue me. My insurance company got to cover it.
Yeah.
So point being is, if everybody else has to carry insurance, why are they above the law?
Exactly.
Why are the discrete unions covering for them, and yet the city pays for their screw-ups?
And then what is the main thing that you've been saying that we have to do to the police? Defund them.
Absolutely. This is a way of defunding. You got to get them where it hurts. You got to get them in the pocketbook. So essentially, if they can't afford the premium and the union, now by law, we can't tell them that you got to get rid of your unions, unfortunately, because if I could, I would be writing a different proposal.
Right.
So with that said, you can't you can't get rid of their union. So if they have to choose between their premium and their unions, that's their problem.
Right, and they only have a certain amount of money to do stuff with.
Right.
And we defund
problem.
them, they don't have a union at that point. They can't support it.
That's their problem, though. So, I mean, you have to hit them where it hurts, like I said, with the pocketbook. And I feel like this agenda definitely will hit them where it hurts. But not only that, it's going to hold them accountable most importantly.
Right.
Most importantly. This could help the future because, again, and this is why I say this could help the future, because they tried this in 2016 before George Floyd.
And this could have been prevented.
His death could be prevented. That's what I told the committee. His death could have been prevented is what I told him. And you know what the sad part is? So I asked the committee that we directly put this on the ballot. Directly means that I don't have to go get signatures.
Right.
Okay? Minneapolis got the signatures. They went indirectly. And it still got shot down by their Supreme Court.
Wow.
Stating that it was unconstitutional. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Is we're trying to find a proposal in which they can't shoot it down and say that it's unconstitutional, because I'll say it again, the police are a liability. Therefore, they need to carry the insurance for that.
Right.
It's not just the murderers I have a problem with, it's the bystanders, their partners. And I have often heard that they're afraid to speak up. And if that's the kind of pleasing thing we're living in,
right,
then get rid of them all.
Yeah. Silence is violence.
Right.
It's been kind enough to even give us this information. I'm the first person she spoke to about this. Again, in the video, you're going to see how she got them politically correct. And with this proposal, this is definitely something that's not going to happen overnight. This is a huge fight. But if everyone gets on board, you know, I don't want to use if. When everyone gets on board,
absolutely,
we're going to do this. This is a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
This is change. The youth is going to have to carry it out, but we're setting the standards.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to talk about the events that she has coming up.
Yeah, so Millennium Movement and Heartbeat will be there. And it's very organized. It's a march for the youth. And it starts at 11.
Yep, that's what it said.
Yeah, 11 to 3. Sorry, I have so many events going on. Yeah, so we're trying to get people to understand that it's not just, so the media, unfortunately, the way that they're either presenting protesters one of two ways.
Right.
They're either presenting them arm in arm with the police.
Right.
For like what I call propaganda. Or, I said what I said. Or they are showing protesters as rioters. So now, instead of being called protesters, like I've been called a rioter. I've never rioted a day in my life.
Right, or a looter.
Right. I've never looted a day in my life. But I'm a protester.
Yeah, and they just threw everyone in that boat.
So we want people to know that it's okay to bring your children and just know, and I'll give you the resources as well. I'm gonna shout them out if you don't mind.
Yeah, go whenever you're ready.
But I'm gonna shout them out in a minute. But yeah, you have to have some resources essentially, and if you have those resources, you can find out like what's good for you, whether it's a small organization or a large organization, which I'm definitely be shouting them out. Essentially, just they'll give you the information if you're curious about stuff or events or things that are close to you. I mean, things are happening everywhere. You see,
everywhere.
Yes.
You can't run from it.
Exactly, and that's the point. You can't run from it, and I love that you said that. I love that you said that. You can't run from it, and even if you don't want to protest, there's other ways like signing a petition. Speaking at city council, but there are protests out there if you feel like the media has misled you, that it's not peaceful. And so this is going to show, and it's going to be big, very big, that youth are welcome in this because they are the future. The youth is the future, so the youth are welcome in this.
And we're setting the standard. Like my sons are 5 and 2. They're going to remember back when they were younger that they were at a protest. And they're going to question why. And that standard is going to be set in their mind. Like, we're not going to comply with this. This is not okay. We have to change. This is change we need.
That's because you got to put your foot on the gas pedal, and then eventually you're going to have to teach. What you're doing right now is you're teaching your boys how to drive.
Right.
So they know, how it's done.
Yeah. And then we are going to be wrapping up soon. So what were some of those organizations that you did want to shout out and talk about?
So if anybody wants any resources, I will give you the one in Minneapolis, the Professional Insurance for Police, STP. They are the ones that are trying to finish essentially what they started back in 2016. And I'm in touch with them. They've been a great help as well with me because I told them, hey, Columbus, Ohio, we'd like to set the standard as well.
Yes.
So you can look them up and you can see exactly what it's about if you want to do more research into what the agenda is, because I know it's vague and it can be really complicated. Trust me, for someone who's writing the proposal, it is very complicated. But and the People's Justice Project, they have a really large presence in Columbus, actually, and in fact, they're taking lead on. They're working with the committee as well, the council,
right?
And essentially, they're doing a quote unquote real police reform, as I was told by the president, quote unquote. So they are going to be making sure that they are held accountable for that. So just know that there is an organization that is not only out there on the streets, but they are out there with, and behind the scenes too. Just because they're not in the press, just because you don't see a photo of them, does not mean that they didn't go over the police head. Does not mean that their presence isn't strong.
Right.
Best believe that. Just because they're not in the press don't mean their presence ain't strong.
Right. And everyone knows the news is going to put what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And then SURJ is a really great one, which stands for Showing Up for Racial Justice. Excuse me. So that's SURJ, SURJ. And they have chapters all over the United States, which is a great resource. And so they'll essentially tell you what's up as well. I don't find information without their help, or without these people's help, or without small organizations' help. So really what it's about is the community. Mm-hmm. And everything matters in this movement. If you signed a petition, thank you. If you signed a petition, you've done something thus far.
Right.
So, just a post. If you posted something, thank you.
Yeah, you don't want to go in this alone, or think that you have to go in this alone.
Yeah.
Because this is a domino theory. Everyone has to do their part, so every piece is falling.
Yes.
Because we're going to defund the police, and it's going to happen.
Some way, shape, or form. And honestly, and like I told the council president, I did say, defunding does sound radical, but in reality, it's logical.
Yeah, and that's, if we have to play their game, our policies enforce where we are protecting Black lives, because Black lives do matter, and we're the most oppressed ones right now. This is going to set the standard for every other person of color, pigmentation, ethnic group, anyone at that matter, so all lives can matter and that they're protected and you don't have to fight these battles anymore.
Yes, and actually someone did ask me, it's funny too, because someone did ask me, they said, or they didn't ask me, they told me, they said, well, the unions aren't going to be pleased with this. Well, yeah, I know that, duh. I mean, who I would initially want to get rid of. So, duh, I know the unions won't be pleased. And that it's going to be a big battle. Oh, I know that. It's been shot down by the Supreme Court.
Crazy.
But he did ask me one thing. He asked, do you think that the insurance companies would be down for it? And I told him, again, it comes down to where we're hitting them with the money, right?
Right.
Comes down to money again.
Always.
If it's made a law, shoot, the insurance company, more pocket money for them.
They're going to profit on any and everything.
Right. So I'm sorry that the unions want to be discreet. And I'm sorry that they're not transparent at all. But this is where we're at. It might sound extreme to some who are listening, but this is where we're at. And why do other professionals who have lives in their hands have to carry malpractice insurance and not them? Why?
Exactly.
Why does a person who cuts hair and does hair have more training than them?
Yeah. And
Like,
they have to carry a license and
right.
a certain standard.
So everybody has to be held accountable in the United States. Everybody has to be contractors, doctors, lawyers, you name it. You are in some way, shape, or form held accountable via insurance. And everybody's afraid of their premiums going up. And I feel them there. I feel everybody there, your car premiums, whatever it may be, your house, you know, your contractors. But the point being is, they're not above the law.
They're not.
They're not above the law. And that's what people need to start realizing, is they need to be treated like citizens as well, because we paid them.
Right. And police need to be policed as well.
Unfortunately, that's what it's come down to. And it's long overdue, to be honest.
All the resources are going to be listed below. You know, I'm just super happy that you were able to talk to me. Is there any last things you want to say?
Honestly, I guess the point I want to make, and I do apologize, we can go deeper into the proposal. It's just so complicated.
Yeah, we can always, have more episodes.
But as it goes through, like when I get it to the president, I will be sending it to other people as well. Congresswoman Beatty, I've met her a couple of times, but they will get it, and then as well as one of the resources I listed, People Project. But essentially, I just want everyone to know that you can be a part of this in so many different ways. There are resources out there. And your voice doesn't just have to be heard on the streets at all. Like, spread the word. You know what? Email your city council in the links.
Right.
And then if you don't like what they have to say, email them again. Yeah, you guys have more power than the streets, and that's what I want y'all to know.
And I love that you said that, because everything's not for everybody. And again, everyone has their purpose. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this subject. I hope you walk away with learning something. Check the resources out below. It's not going to hurt. At least try to look into it and understand. Definitely getting out. Your girl JazzYbella's out. I'll catch you guys next time on The Smart.